It's Friday, February 21st. Welcome to our Oilers-themed edition of TV7.ca. I'm Lisa Rufionge.
I'm Paul Huculak. That's right. Lisa and I have decided that today, celebrating first in the Pacific Division after last night with an extra point in overtime. Our Edmonton Oilers, we've been meaning to do this for a long time. But
yeah, we have. On Wednesday, they took on the Bruins and, like Paul said, walked out with a point. Bruins took that one in overtime, but it was a good game.
It's a good point against the first in the league. So I'm okay with that, quote-unquote loss.
Yeah, that was something else. Haas got a little trounce there at the end, but it was great. And we take on the Minnesota Wild tonight.
You and I might have a future in play-by-play and color commentary. What do you think?
Oh, I think that's way too much pressure for me. I just know what I like.
That's exactly right. We'll just watch the games with potato chips. That's
Only
all we'll do.
if we can commentary just on the Oilers. How are we going?
Today, the city is prepared for an emergency. Are you? The RCMP make a drug bust in our city, and it's been 8 months since we've started recycling packing styrofoam. We take a look at how that program is in fact going. All that and so much more on this episode of TV7.ca. But first,
St. Albert RCMP will be hosting a town hall meeting on March 11th from 6 to 8 p.m. in the Grandin Room of the St. Albert Inn.
Yeah, the Central Alberta District Officer, Shaheen Medizadeh, the St. Albert Detachment Commander, Inspector Pamela Robinson, and the senior leadership team will provide an overview of crime reduction initiatives and address the efforts of the St. Albert RCMP to reduce crime in our city. Representation from the St. Albert Police Committee and Victim Services Unit will be in attendance, and the program will include an opportunity for citizen engagement.
Now, Inspector Pam Robinson states, town halls provide an opportunity for members of the public to share their expectations and for the RCMP to actively listen and partner with the community in a collaborative way to jointly shape the direction of the police service in St. Albert.
Now, to share your thoughts about how the RCMP are doing, head down to the St. Albert Inn on March 11th from 6 to 8 p.m., or as most people do, hit Facebook up at 2 a.m. after a glass of wine.
Or a bottle.
Says you.
Last summer, the Mike Mitchell Recycling Depot began collecting styrofoam. Now, the styrofoam needed to be clean blocks of commonly found in packing materials from electronics, appliances, and furniture. To help with the city's goals of being green and environmentally responsible, the City Council has decided to accept these items on a permanent basis.
From July to December, we have collectively recycled 337 totes, which is equal to over 3,000 kgs or kilograms of diverted waste. Styrofoam can be difficult to recycle because it is large and can break into smaller pieces easily, which can contaminate other materials, which is why you're not allowed to place these items into your blue bags. Now, the recycling process includes melting down into densified blocks that are then used to make lightweight products such as picture frames and airplane countertops.
The Mike Mitchell Recycling Depot is located in Campbell Park, and as we told you a few weeks ago, is now open 6 days a week.
As a result of an execution of a search warrant, the St. Albert RCMP drug unit made some seizures and arrests last week. Now, on January 9th, they searched a St. Albert home and seized over a half ounce of cocaine and over a pound of illicit cannabis. Pepper spray and drug paraphernalia were also seized in the search.
St. Albert residents 31-year-old Jordan Anderson and 35-year-old Katrina Anderson were both arrested and charged with Cannabis Act and criminal code offenses. Now, you'd think that with the legislation of cannabis, this wouldn't be a thing anymore, but here we are.
Yeah, the St. Albert RCMP do have a drug tip line where members of the community can call anonymously to report information related to suspected drug trafficking.
Well, it's less than a month away from the Night of Artists Gala, where we will be live streaming the event along with Memory Roth.
And I absolutely love the Artist Gala from an artist himself. I'm not exactly a visual artist. I can't draw a straight line, but I am definitely
a vocal artist.
Vocal artist and an actor and stuff like that. So, man, I just love the fact that St. Albert gets behind the arts as much as our town does. It's just fantastic. So,
and you can check out the Night of Artist website for more details about the March 20th, 21st, and 22nd events. Yeah. One of the artists at this event is Jory Warren. Memory Roth had the pleasure of speaking to her in this week's Art in the City.
I'm here at the Art Gallery of St. Albert with artist Jory Warren. Welcome, Jory.
Thanks, Memory. Glad to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad you agreed to the interview. Jory, now you're not from St. Albert,
No.
but you also have a St. Albert connection.
Absolutely.
But can you tell us a little bit about your background and when you discovered you were an artist and that sort of thing?
I've been creative all my life. My jobs prior to being an artist was I worked at IKEA in the art department and the sign department for 10 years, and then after that I had my own company doing props and special events.
Oh, that's great.
And then through a little bit of circumstance I became an artist, and just in the last 5 years a full-time artist.
Wow, so what was it that made you decide to stop the business you were in and take on this other business?
To become a full-time artist, you mean?
Yeah.
I was invited to Night of Artists here in St. Albert, and that was my first show ever as an artist, a first art show, as a matter of fact. And from there I was welcomed into the whole art community from Night of Artists and the St. Albert people that are here. It's a great community of artists, a real supportive community with Night of Artists, and I was lucky to be part of that, and this will be my 5th year.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great. That's great. So that's sort of your connection with St. Albert, but you also have another connection.
Yeah, the other connection, I just after my first time with the Night of Arts, the first one, I was asked to be represented by Udell Gallery on 124th Street, and just after that, I was invited to a group show at Vasa Gallery here in St. Albert. From that group show, which was Canada, they were celebrating Canada 150, and I got to put 2 of my currency paintings in, which was really fun. And from there, they invited me to do a solo show. And at the same time, Vasa was kind enough and open enough to let me have a car show out front, and it happened to be Rock in August.
Right.
So it was a real good connection for Rock in August, the Vasa Gallery, and they let me do end up being a huge event.
Yes.
So it was really, really fun.
Yeah, that was really
So I have
it
a
was-
really good soft spot for St. Albert.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So you've been doing your art as a professional artist now for 5 years. What type of art do you do, and what kind of mediums do you like?
I'm pretty well sticking to acrylic right now. I'm trying to find my way in what I like to do. I think it's now contemporary realism, and I really detail. I stick to a lot of detail, and I think that's my background from doing special events. I used to do stage events, so it's
Right.
huge work, huge paintings in the back, or what have you. So I think my scale is quite large.
Right.
So I'm pretty known for larger pieces,
Right.
but yet detailed
Right,
as well.
your paintings are absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Remember the first time I saw it was at the Night of Artists.
Yeah, it's the first time I met you,
and-
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I was so impressed. You have to see Jory's work.
Thanks.
I'm Memory Roth, and this has been Art in the City with TV7.ca.
All right, say it and think it with me, Lisa and St. Albertans. I think that may be it. I think as I got out of my door today, everything was melting and winter is most certainly ? Behind us.
And now that Paul has officially jinxed us,
Yeah.
there's no excuse for you to not get out and start your exercise routine again. And the city's recreation facilities are ready to help.
Yeah, it's because of winter I wasn't exercising, Lisa. Choke, choke, cough, cough, says my bigger beer belly than before winter. The spring programs and summer camp registrations are open next Wednesday, the 26th. The new to spring programs and summer camps include Rush Hour, which is a 45-minute blast for those wanting to hit the gym on their way home from work. There's a dad and kid yoga workshop where you could spend Father's Day bonding and bending together through fun yoga poses. And the Wizarding World of St. Albert, which is a magical themed summer camp.
And as mentioned earlier, registration for St. Albert residents open on February 26th, with general registration beginning on March the 4th.
And of course, and as always, for more information, visit stalbert.ca/rec programs. Now, with so many opportunities to stay active and healthy in our wonderful city, there's always something for everyone. So are you prepared for an emergency? Well, our city, thank goodness, is.
That's right. The City of St. Albert has a comprehensive emergency management plan and programs in place to prepare for, respond to, and recover from all potential hazards, including natural disasters and technological or human-caused incidents. As well, the City of St. Albert's Emergency Management Bylaw provides direction and control of the city's emergency response in the event of a major incident. The administration presented this bylaw to the Community Living Standards Committee on February 10th as slight changes were required to comply with provincial regulation changes.
Key changes included a simplified process for declaring a state of local emergency and designated the Director of Emergency Management to the Chief Administrative Officer from the Director of Emergency Services. Now, this provides enhanced flexibility for the CAO to designate work associated with the position to those qualified within the organization.
And as part of its emergency preparedness, the city also ensures its plans are put into action. Every year, St. Albert staff who would respond to an incident are trained in the incident command system. Mock exercises are also held at least once a year, and these exercises, which are often in collaboration with the province, are used to provide training that is as realistic as possible, but in a safe and learning environment.
Now, they also offer various workshops and events throughout the year for you to participate in. A complete list can be found on the city's website.
And it's a good thing they do. You never think you need it till you need it.
Well, that's just it. You never think you need it. So when an opportunity arises, take a look at the city's website, because I think it's important to get involved.
And things sure has changed since Paul was a kid. His emergency plan was done.
Last week. So unfortunately, however, definitely in need, the Woodlands Skate Park will be closing this year for construction and replacement, and the city would like your input.
So what design features would you like to see, Paul?
A visit from Tony Hawk.
I don't think that's in the budget.
That'd be fantastic.
So to collect your feedback on this project, the city is currently running an online survey. You'll have until Monday the 24th to participate and check out the city's website to locate the address.
Do you know who Tony Hawk is?
I do. Do you?
Yes, I do. But you know what? Honest to gosh, you guys, I have no balance and can't get on a skateboard to save my life.
Why doesn't that surprise me?
No. The city offers a variety of funding support programs to assist with community events, athletic or artistic pursuits, and or to help offset the costs of community capital projects.
And the upcoming spring grant opportunities include the St. Albert Athlete and Artist Development Grant, the Community Events Grant, and the Community Capital Program Grant.
The intake deadline for the 3 grant programs is April 2nd at 5 p.m. Full details on the grant programs, including application forms, are available at stalbert.ca.
And Stephanie Cordova is here once again to help us get our homes a little more organized with Cut the Clutter.
Last week we talked about sorting and space. This week we're going to talk about our final 2 S's of systems and sustaining. Systems could mean everything from using totes and labels, but typically your system is unique to you. I prefer to use clear totes, but again, it depends on where you're going to be storing them. Some people like their items behind closed doors, while other people like pretty boxes that they can see. Keeping like with like is the most important part. Using labels if you have multiple people in your family to keep track of your items. But most important, your system has to be flexible for you. And we're also going to talk about sustaining, which is also the most important part of organizing. To maintain a tidy, organized house means being a mindful consumer about what comes back into your home. Are you buying more than you need? Are you purchasing because you're sad or bored? Emotional purchases only help the seller, not the buyer. The other part of sustaining is the regular maintenance and tidying on a regular basis. When everything has a place and a system, this part is the easy part. When you set things down because they don't have a place, you start to get the clutter again. If it's not easy for you, perhaps you are missing a piece to the system. Clutter is nothing more than postponed decisions. Join us next week for another tip.
And each and every Friday on TV7.ca, we graciously welcome Michelle Parker with Let's Get Fit.
All right, so welcome. Today we're going to be talking about getting enough rest. Well, many of us know that poor sleeping habits can affect our physical and mental performance. Did you also know that poor sleep can affect your weight loss? So if one of your goals this year is to lose body fat, not only should you be considering exercising and nutrition plans, you should also be taking a look at your sleeping patterns. So most healthy adults need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to function at their best. Children and teens even more. So this week's challenge, get some rest. Sounds so simple, yet with so many competing priorities in our lives, it can be quite a challenge for many of us. So this week's challenge is to get 7 or more hours per sleep. If not sleep, at least rest. Close your eyes, lie down with that intention of sleeping each day this week. Give it a try because you are worth it. So bonus, of course, we're gonna add in a move of the week today. So as part of your evening wind down, settle down on the ground for 5 to 7 minutes of stretching to end off your daily routine. So let's come on down to the floor together and we'll take you through some stretching moves. All right, well, welcome back down to the ground, everyone. We're gonna start off with one of my favorite stretches, and it's very simple. We're just gonna sit down with one leg extended, toes pointing up to the ceiling, your other knees hugged towards your chest, and we're gonna cross it over and give it a nice big hug. As you hug out that knee, you should be feeling that stretch in through your glute, and trust me, a good glute stretch feels great any day. So you're gonna hold on to these stretches for about 2 to 3 big, deep breaths in and out. And of course, when you're done, you're gonna be switching legs, all right? So bringing the other knee into your chest, crossing it over, and you give a nice big hug. Now I did mention 5 to 7 minutes of stretching. So that is a recommendation for most days of your week. So try about 5 or more days per week to get in 5 to 7 minutes of stretching. Again, 2 to 3 deep breaths, and you can move into your next stretch. One of my other favorites is simply to bring your legs and cross them in front of you. You're gonna repeat this with the legs reversed afterwards. It's just hinging at those hips, letting yourself fall forward, and then your hands may come down to the ground. When you're here and settled, drop your chin towards your chest, elongating out that spine and enjoying the moment. Feeling a couple of deep breaths in and out. When you're ready, you can use those hands to walk yourself back in before switching your legs and repeating the same move, just so you can make sure you're balancing out that stretch. Now, after you've done that forward bend, chin to chest, and held it here for 2 or 3 deep breaths, another variation will be to walk your hands over to the side, deepening that stretch up through the side of your body. A couple deep breaths here before you move to the other side and do it again. Now, of course, those are some great lower body stretches. You also have that upper body where you can bring one arm across. Make sure you're never pulling on a joint, either above and below it. And with any of our stretches similar to what I'm doing, try and keep those shoulders down and pulled away from your ears. We do enough things like this in our day-to-day lives, whether we're on the phone, driving in cars, or sitting at the office. Everyone from TV7.ca, I'm Michelle. Have a wonderful day.
And each and every Friday on TV7.ca, we graciously welcome Michelle Parker with Let's Get Fit.
I want money.
What is a minute book? There are 2 types of businesses generally used in Canada. A proprietorship, which is filed on your regular personal taxes and has a fiscal year of January to December. And there's a corporation, which can have a different fiscal year end date and is a separate entity from you personally. If you're incorporated, we file a T2 return for your business. What many people don't know is that when you have a corporation, you have other filing responsibilities. You have to complete your annual return every year with the registry, and you need to ensure that you have a minute book and that that minute book is up to date. So what exactly is a minute book? A corporation has to follow regulations within the Business Corporations Act. This includes maintaining a minute book. A minute book can be a small binder that holds your certificates and articles of incorporation, your annual returns filed with registry,
and any resolutions indicating dividends issued from your corporation. It should also include a set of corporate bylaws. You need this book to provide to CRA if you're ever under audit, and you'll likely be asked for it when you're visiting your accountant. You want to ensure that you have all corporate affairs in order and that the information required is accessible when you need it. If you have more questions about minute books and compliance, feel free to reach out and contact us. I'm Crystal Lucier with Preferred Tax Solutions, and this is TV7.ca.
I want money.
That's it. That's all once again for this week on TV7.ca. Now, if you have any community events or news you'd like to share with our viewers as well, if you need any marketing ideas or advertising ideas, please do send us a message, news@tv7.ca. And once again, from all of us at TV7.ca, I'm Paul Huculak.
And I'm Lisa Rufianj, and you have a great week.